Hey there, everybody. It is a mess. It has been out of, I have been out of practice for 2.5 months. So, pardon me as I get back used to live streaming, and feel free to chat in the chat wherever you're watching this in the comments. I hope this should be streaming on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. So we'll get back in the routine. I've had to set up a new place. I've moved to a new place. I've moved cross country. Most of you probably know that if you're on my personal social media profiles. And so have been getting settled the last 2.5 months, really, and getting set up in the new place and kind of figuring this all out. So wanted to jump in right away or as quickly as possible to live streaming again because it's something I really enjoy, chatting with you all. And yes, I am back, Bob G. Good to see you back. And so Lola, our fearless compadre, is messaged me that she is working today, so she won't be able to join us as she normally did. I decided to do a daytime live stream. I'm gonna try to do a couple of these a week, and so I want to try some different times and different dates, so maybe different people can join and pop in and watch the live stream. So that's kind of the plan, and we will see how it all goes. So let's jump in. What I want to do is actually, my computer crashed right before I got online, so let me just check that we are live everywhere. It looks like we are, but never know, never know. Let's see. Want to make sure everything is working. Yes, I'm live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook land. And then let me double check YouTube. I think I just got a message that I am live on my channel. Yep, okay. Good deal. Should also be live on Twitch and yeah, Twitch, I think. So that is great. All right. As I said, welcome to the live stream. This, if you've not been on the live stream before, basically this is just me, my learning to paint journey. About a year ago now, it was June 1st last year that I started teaching myself to paint on YouTube, and I've been doing that for the last really 12, 13 months. I took a couple months off with the move, and there was some drama with my life. I had my U-Haul moving to South Dakota was stolen, so have been working the last couple of months to get life reset. But it's starting to kind of get back in balance, which is really nice. But my live streams are just kind of open house, pop in, pop out. Feel free to comment and chat in the comments. I love interacting with you all as I paint, and so it's really informal. I stayed up too late. I'm a night owl. I was painting last night, and so I'm just getting started today, and I'm drinking my tea to kind of give me some pep. So hopefully I should liven up as we go. Wanted to show you some of the things that I've been doing. Those of you who are following me on Instagram or Facebook probably already saw these, but wanted to kind of show you the paintings I've done as I have been jumping back into the saddle, as it were. I bought a canvas book, which is canvas paper. It's just thicker paper, just to do some sketches on, and kind of an inexpensive way, a relatively inexpensive way to do some paintings, and to try some different techniques and things. That way I don't have just tons of canvases or panels all over my house, because I have piles of canvases everywhere. But I started about a week ago painting again, and this was one that I did that was kind of fun. Just a study of a squirrel. It's, as you can tell, if you followed my painting, it's a lot looser brush strokes. It's less photorealist. I tried often to do photorealism. That was something that attracted me early. Now I'm exploring with looser brush strokes, and just really working with value and color. And so I did this one, which was fun. I think I'm going to actually scan this and make prints of it, because it was a cute one that people liked. And then that was so well received, I decided to do another painting of a squirrel. This one was really fun. He was a This was a reference photo, and this was exactly how the reference photo was. Somehow the photographer of this reference photo caught the squirrel blinking, so it was a fun one to paint, and I thought he was really cute. So it was a little more, this one was a little more photorealistic, but I was working with light and shadow as I had been before I moved. I'm trying to really work with light and shadow some more, and so that's fun. Um, and then I did a painting of Machu Picchu. I had done a student trip several years ago during spring break to Peru, and we went to Machu Picchu, and so I was exploring this subject. You could tell it's definitely more loose brush strokes, bright colors. So I was exploring color as well as composition and very loose, bright brush strokes. So this one I really am pleased with how it turned out, and I'm actually going to frame this for myself and keep it in my house. And but I may make prints of this available as well, because some people really liked this one as well. So this was fun, and one that I was really happy how it turned out. And then last night I worked. I mentioned that I was up late, and this is what I was working on last night. Oh, let me get close. I don't know if he's gonna focus. There he goes. Oh, sort of. Okay, not quite focused, but there. Oh, there we go. I just have to hold him in front of my face so it doesn't focus on me. So I worked on this peacock, focused really on making, like, drawing the eye up to his face and making the light the focus of this painting. So I'm happy with how this turned out. I need to do some additional work. I was painting, it was pretty dark up here by the time I got done, and so I realized that this part is a little off, and over here is a little distracting, so I'm going to work on that a little more probably before I call this one done, but very pleased with how he's coming along. All right. That is what I have been up to. Hope you all have had a great couple of months off. I hope that I have a fan running right behind my camera, so I hope that is not too distracting and the sound is not too loud. I'm using the microphone on my camera. I bought a webcam, and I'm using that microphone, so the mic quality may not be great. Eventually, I will probably replace the lavalier mic that I had, but I have not done that yet. All of my live streaming equipment was stolen when my U-Haul was stolen, so I have been updating that little by little, or replacing that little by little. All right, let's get started on this week's or today's painting. I'm still getting things set. I'm trying to balance. All my painting supplies are here on the table. I have a much more space in this studio space than I had in my old apartment, but I used to have a stand that I could put my computer on. I have not replaced that yet. I need to, because I need to have the computer separate from what I'm doing here. But I'm trying to balance the computer. If y'all could see this, actually, well, no, I won't try to do that because that would make you sick. But I'm trying to balance my computer and my paints and my brushes and the water jar, which is probably really risky because I have the water jar right next to my computer, which is not smart. But all right, let me turn the camera to canvas. Whoops. I'm gonna kind of have to work this around a little bit to get it set up so it'll work. I want you guys to be able to look right over my shoulders. So I think I'm in the old apartment. I had the reference photo on the right side, but in this one, I think I'm going to put it up on the left side. So let me go here. Oh, there she is. We're going to try this lioness. Those of you that have been around probably remember the male lion that I did that turned out really well. That painting was actually one of the paintings that was stolen. So unfortunately, I don't have it. I do have a high quality scan of it. So I do have, I can make prints of that, but it was sad to me that they stole my lion, but it is what it is. Okay, let's get some paint on the palette. We're gonna put some burnt umber, and we need basically all our browns. We're gonna put some burnt sienna, or raw sienna, not burnt sienna. And then we need our yellow ochres. She is going to be, obviously. And then we're doing some cad yellow, which is just traditional yellow. So we have our reds to our yellows. One other thing we need, though, which you wouldn't think we would need, is some ultramarine blue. So we're going to need some. Ooh, this is goopy. That is gross. Some paint. We're going to need some blues because that will help us desaturate the yellows and browns and the red in the brown. And probably some, maybe even phthalo green. I'll put a little bit out there. And finally white. Yeah, I definitely need a stand. And I think I'm going to get a palette easel or a palette tripod. Alright, so this is what the palette looks like. This is blue and green. It's hard to tell that color. Blue and green. browns to yellow and white. Welcome, welcome for all of you coming in. Feel free to say hello in the comments wherever you're watching. Grateful to have you. All right, so you'll notice I have no drawing here. When I painted the other lion that I did months ago, I had the drawing, so I was able to really focus on the color, the value, but in this one, we don't have that. So one of the reasons that I did this is, number one, I didn't have time to really, and I didn't decide what I was going to paint till this morning. But also one of the things that's different, moving up in the mountains, the air is drier, so I have a spray bottle of water that I spray the canvas and my palette with, because otherwise my paints dry they dry fast anyway, but they dry way too fast. So I got distracted. What I'm going to try to do, and what I want to explore today, is really drawing and adjusting this without having the outline, without having any sort of guidance, to see how I can get my composition as well as my proportions correct. All right, so we want her, so let's kind of just take some brown and let's put, I think we want, let's just say the top of her head right in there. And let's put her chin right there. I think that's already not going to work. Well, it might. So this is kind of ear, other ear, eye, her eyes are basically pretty, okay. Top of her nose. Bottom of her nose. Notice how I'm adjusting even as I go. Bottom of her nose. And chin. I think right there. Okay. I think we need to move her over so her eye's a little bit there. Whoops. Because I think she's a little too far, but we can adjust as we go. All right. Let's start kind of putting in our darkest values are going to be her nose and her eyes and the tuft of her ears, and then right in the around the mouth, and then in her cheeks. So let's start focusing there first. Just putting in some of those values, and every time as we do this, we're going to. The good thing about having more space in this studio is I can step back from the painting and see what's working and not working. And one of the things I'm learning is that if it's not working at one stage of the game, it doesn't get better necessarily. So you want to work as you go. Just as you go. Notice I'm using a fairly large brush and very loose strokes. This forces me not to get too tied up in the details and not trying to draw what I see, but focusing on trying to balance the values of what is happening here. Alright, lightening the value significantly. Coming in, this was the previous, and then bringing this in. Let's kind of put in some of these lighter spots. The light comes across her, and then really right in there, she's really bright. There we go. I like this. Adjusting her down a little bit. This ear I think was way too high. So that's working for me. Bring in a little more of the yellow ochre. All right, notice what's starting to come together and what's not. I definitely want the way the light is hitting her head is important because I want it to, I definitely want it to be clear that she's looking off this direction and not, right now it's a little flat. And so we need to make sure the nose is a little offset from the eyes. I think this eye is in a pretty good place, but the other one is off, I think. So I think this eye is in a good, but then there's something off with this other one, I think. It needs to be further out. Because the musculature, maybe this needs to be the musculature of her. Yeah, I think this one needs to come out just a little bit. It's about understanding kind of not only the anatomy, but using the change in color, the change in values to indicate those subtleties in her anatomy, or the anatomy of her face. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this without a drawing, an underdrawing, because I could have taken my, measured and got her eyes perfectly proportioned and had the guidelines perfect, but it doesn't strengthen my ability of observation. So that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm working on. And it's just constantly adjusting until you get the right, until it looks right. Okay, let me step back and look at her. Okay, she's still flat over here. We're going to kind of smear that out a little bit. Ooh, that's really bright. Too bright. That gives us the idea. So I want the red tones across her nose, and then on the ear here, I want this, the light, and then I want all of this in shadow basically, so that it draws us right into her face. So that's the logic of what we're doing. And I think we're starting to get there. But I want to do a few more things just to make sure the rough block in and the kind of erase this a little bit. So we kind of see what we got. Just like carving. I think I came too far in there. All right, what do I like about this? What's painter Andrew Tischler, who's a really amazing painter out of New Zealand, always asks, what's working, what's not working? What's working, what's not working about the painting at whatever stage? What's working, what's not working? Okay, when we step back, there's a lot of things working here. I think the overall value balance is working. The darks, the lights, the rough colors, the block ends. What's not working? I think the proportions are a little bit off. I think this is a little bit her. This is a younger lioness than the one in the reference photo. I think we need more volume in her face and more definition coming in to I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that, but we are going to do it. So let's figure it out. Now the challenge through this is going to be, for me, one of the challenges is going to be making sure that I'm not just copying the reference photo, because I don't want a duplicate of the reference photo. I want it as a reference, but I want to create my own painting. And so nope, that's not going to work. We need a much less red value. Because I'm going to emphasize the light coming across her snout or her bridge of her nose here and the ear, this ear there, that dark spot will need to be a little more emphasized a little more than it maybe is in the reference photo, because I want the light to stand out. So anything you put the light next to or the dark next to is obviously the points of greatest contrast are going to be, that's how you're going to get that. So that's what we're going to focus on, is how do we intentionally create those areas of contrast. We definitely want to come in here. There's also contrast across here. It's okay if this is it's a little heavy right now. As I go, I'm constantly adjusting the composition as well, making sure that what I'm placing is in the right place. Now she's starting to emerge, isn't she? Now let me take a little bit of this. One of the other things that I'm going to be playing with over the next few months is really trying to become slower with my brush strokes and more intentional, and trying to figure out what the minimum number of brush strokes are to get something so that it reads correctly. Like, what do I actually need so that what I'm trying to communicate actually reads. That's the challenge, is to strengthen that skill. If you can just keep little by little making adjustments, eventually it all appears. It's a constant process of asking what's working, what's not working. What's working, what's not working. That's not working. Going back to the palette and adjusting. Oop. Yeah, that's not working for me. All right, let's refill the palette. I guess I should stop to drink some of this tea. Keep me going. Kind of happy with how this is starting to come together. So, let's keep going. I'm trying to decide. It's really nice because you all are, I don't know, about 2 feet behind the camera, but I'm able to step back and really look at what is happening, what's coming together. Okay. What I notice is that this eye is a little too far, like there's more volume, even more here. And this eye is a little too close to this, is too far from this edge. She's, her eyes are a little more set over, I think. And that will help it read like her head is turned. So, I want to kind of look at that, see what I can do to adjust that. What can I do to adjust this kind of feeling. Let me come in. Actually put a little more light onto my... You know what I really need is multiple cameras. I need a camera clipped up here that faces me. That way I can chat with y'all directly. I mean, I can look into y'all's faces, but also, oh, you know what I'm also missing is some Baratheon. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is come in here on this side and give a little bit more, because there's more that's happening here. There are these areas. A little more blue. Just drawing some guidelines that will help me kind of picture to get these, because so much of this reading correctly is tied to this, the right proportions and the right, like this being right. Thank you, Mom. Okay. Once I get it to the point that I can't, or once it's to a point where I feel like not only the composition is correct, but the proportions and everything is as good as I can get it, that's when you start, that's when I'll start adding the detail. Because once it's correct, or it feels correct, then that's where it really comes together, because this eye is off again. So I just need to keep looking what's working, what's not working, what's working, what's not working. Okay. So it's not working. I think, again, I've widened this too far. Her the side of her face is too far away from the eye, so it makes her look kind of messed up. So we will bring her back in a little bit. Let's see what's her. It is most wide here at her eyes and at her nose. But I think this eye is off, or it's reading off. So, what is wrong with it? Not sure. I think the placement of her nose is fairly correct. Yeah. There's something still up here that's not quite working. Thanks, Bob. We are going to get her there. May take a little more work, but we're just going to keep doing it. Oops, that's not working. Yeah, that's a little better. Whoops. That is not what I want to do. Ugh. Way too much red in that. There we go. Okay, this is really messed up right now, but I'm going to take a little break from that. And I am going to work on something else. So that I can come back to it with new eyes. Okay. I think what may also help is starting to add some of the shadow around her so that you get a better perspective of how the light and shadow is going to play off of each other. So let's do that. I'm going to have to do a couple of layers of this just because it's so dry. Not too worried about the color consistency. Just kind of mixing blue and brown together, which makes kind of a darkish, blackish gray. But some of this, the brown will show more, some the blue. Just try to get it covered. All right, that's a mess, and I know it's a mess, but it starts to give us the feeling of where we're going. And I do think her face is proportioned or positioned the right way. So what I think I'm going to do is now switch to a little bit smaller brush. So from a wide brush to a maybe half the width. So we can start doing a little more detail, a little more refining. But let's see. All of our colors there. Okay. Now, I think what I want is her I want to start with her eyes. Okay. Let's see how that does for us. Okay, now let's try to put this eye in the right place. Looks a little high to me. Okay. Getting the eyes there, I think. Hi there, April. Hope you are well and life and business is well in Little Rock. Thanks for popping in. Looks like y'all had a great time out in this part of the country. Hope it was relaxing, and man, the places you visited were gorgeous. I want to get out and see some of those places. There's so much to see out here. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, y'all, so clearly we're not going to get done with this one, but I will post progress pictures on Instagram if you'd like to follow along and see what's going on. I'd really like to do like I did with the male lion I did months ago. I really want to emphasize in this one, I want her eyes like to just, the other one, the male lion was looking straight ahead at the viewer, but on this one, I really want her eyes to jump out. So I'm going to put her in shadow differently than the reference photo. So we'll just start doing that a little bit before we wrap up here. We'll just kind of see what that would look like. What happens if we push her back into the shadows and just the most angular planes of her face show. I think there's something really powerful, obviously, about lions, but about these big cats that seems, if you recess them into the shadows, it's like something very not only powerful but kind of terrifying. It communicates the wildness of their nature, I think. To push them back into the shadows, because you never, it's like they're about to spring or something. Hey there, how are you? How's your summer going? Hopefully you are doing well, sir. I miss all of y'all. I'm hoping that I can get back for graduation next year, and maybe a couple of other times in the year, depending how all this COVID stuff pans out. It looks like y'all may have some restrictions still, which really is not a good thing. So sorry you're having to deal with that still. Bored. Well, dude, you need to develop a project, a summer project. Every summer you should come up with a summer project that's something you're interested in, that demonstrates what you're learning, what you're interested in. It's all going to be valuable for college applications. Even if it's not particularly to do with whatever you end up wanting to do in college, it's really powerful to be able to say, hey, the last 3 summers I've been doing X, Y, or Z, or it really shows follow through. Ooh, that's cool. In another life, I was a writer. Maybe once I get this painting thing under control, I will try my hand at writing. I really like writing. I don't think I have, well, you never know. I may have the capacity to develop writing skills the same way I've developed or am developing painting skills. I have no idea. I guess until you do it, you don't know. What kind of writing do you do? Is it just creative? Is it what are you interested in? Awesome. I did a bit of that when I was a kid. I really idolized writers. In the process of writing, I thought it was some sort of like almost pseudo mystical skill instead of just something that people just work really hard at. Thought you just had to be inspired to be a novelist or whatever. I suppose at one point I thought the same about painters. Like, even when I started, I thought, in my head, I thought painting, like I was averse to calling myself an artist because I was like, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't, whatever. But as I have dived further into this, I'm like, you know what? An artist is what they say they are, so I'm an artist. And yes, I'm still learning and exploring and developing my particular artistic perspective, a unique perspective, but that doesn't mean I'm not an artist. Every time I step up to this easel, I'm gaining more, not only experience, but more insights, more awareness of what I like, what I don't, which makes me unique from anyone else out there. So my goal is to just get in front of the easel more. Yeah, see y'all how this is just putting some real shadows around her is helping the composition dramatically. So I have to decide if I want to bring in the shadow all the way into her face like I did with the other lion, or how far I want to do this. So You can see I've already eclipsed her ear into the shadows. But we shall see. Probably going to let it sit for a bit. I may work more on the peacock tonight. But I think that is good for now. We'll let this dry a little bit. I'll probably have to do another layer of this shadow work just because you really want it dark. And I think I want it more gray than brown. So, but I'm pretty happy with what I did. Remember at the beginning I said that I was focusing on my drawing skills, you know, making sure without actually having a drawing. So I think that really worked for me. And the more you do it, I think the more I do it, whoops, there we go, the more it comes together. So let me take this down. There we are. All right, so you can kind of see. Thanks, Bob G. I am excited to be back at it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I just have to keep practicing. But you can follow me, of course, on Instagram, here on YouTube. If you are interested in kind of more of my process, I've started during the move posting vlog content to YouTube, so you can keep up with what's going on in my week to week. I try to publish at least one vlog a week, just kind of informal, what's going on, what I'm doing. A lot of that there will be a lot more painting in the vlogs. A lot of that has been to do with the robbery and the move and all the things that happened. But life is starting to settle down, so it'll be a lot more art content. If you're not interested in that, no worries. I'm going to be doing more and more painting content as we go. I'll be doing live streams. You can always follow me on social media, and you can find out about new upcoming live streams on YouTube by subscribing and making sure that your notifications are turned on. So if you are not subscribed, be sure to do that. That's the best way to be informed when I do an impromptu live stream like this. I'm going to try to do 1 to 2 a week, so feel free to comment if there are days or times that are better. I was doing evening. I'll probably do an evening and a daytime one throughout the week, so feel free to chime in with your preferred times and dates. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I will keep you informed, and I will see you on the next video.